Okay, there we go. All right. So, as Nikki did say, I am an SSD, and one of the reasons that I became an SSD in the time that I did. So, backstory, if you don't know me and you don't know my story, I reinstated my Scentsy business in 2017. So I joined Scentsy originally in April of 2015, and I got to the position of star consultant. I think I had a team of 8 or 9 when I decided that I had too much going on in my life and Scentsy just was not a priority. Um, True to typical Johanna fashion, which I am trying desperately to train myself out of, I made a gut reaction and just decided one day, you know what, this isn't going to fit in my lifestyle, and I quit. I gave everything up. I literally took all of my stuff to my sponsor. I was like, I don't need this stuff anymore. And that was that. Fast forward to about 8 months later when my supply was really, really running low. And I put together a shopping list. And I thought to myself, I am not giving somebody else 25% on this. Absolutely not. So I reinstated my business for free. And I sat down and I thought about it and I started following people. And I thought, if others could do this, why can't I? And I remember we were working towards the Mediterranean cruise. I reinstated in August, but it wasn't enough time for me to truly like get my traction going to earn that cruise. But I can say I have earned every single incentive since. I truly believe in planning your business. Putting a plan in place is how you're going to earn incentives. It's how you're going to grow in your business. It's how you're going to hit those next milestones and do all of the things in this business. This is not something that you can do well long term without systems and plans in place. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. You have to have plans in place. There are two categories of people, and I'm going to break you down into two categories of people right now. And no matter which category you fall into, I don't want you to get off the lie, or I don't want you to get off the Zoom. I want you to listen and just hear what I have to say, because just because this isn't your season right now doesn't mean you won't get there. Two categories of people: people that are doing this just because they want to get their own stuff at a discount. It's just maybe a little bit of fun. They're not really serious about it. They're in a hobby. Okay. Also, in this group of people are the people that thought that they were going to get rich quick, joined on a whim, and it wasn't as easy as they said. So now all of a sudden, oh, I didn't really want that. Okay. That's this group of people. This group of people are running a business. And let me tell you something: when you joined Senzi, you agreed to be a business owner. And it is my own personal opinion that if you are selling to anybody outside of yourself and your mama, you are a business owner. And you have responsibilities as a business owner. You have deadlines you need to meet every month. You have customers you need to service. Because if you are taking somebody's money, if somebody is a customer of yours, you have responsibilities to them. Okay. And people don't like to hear that because they like to flip flop between these two sometimes. I'm going to tell you how to go all in tonight, and I'm going to tell you why you want to. Okay. So I am very busy. I work a full time job, which I know a lot of SSDs don't, but I do. I work a minimum of 40 hours a week as an executive assistant for a private equity firm. I am very busy and my days are very taxing. Um, my schedule ebbs and flows, but I am always like at someone's beck and call. I'm basically an office manager where I'm at, which means that my day changes 100 times and nothing starts off the way it was supposed to. I am a list girl in every aspect of my life. I have to write a list, otherwise, I'm not going to get stuff done because I too have ADHD. So if I don't write the list, it's not getting done because I will squirrel and forget. So, um, I don't have a lot of time where I can say, I know I can get this stuff done for my business unless I have a plan in place to do that. So that is why I created the planner that I'm going to share with you guys today. You may have seen it. I shared it at World Tour, but if not, I'm going to go through it with you so that I can really, truly help you understand why it is what it is. Yep, I see Nikki's got it there. So, first and foremost, I have a ton of stuff going on beyond what I've even shared. But Let me break down the important thing and the thing that we have in common, which is our Scentsy business. Can you allow me to share my screen, Nikki? Because it would be easier if I could share the screen versus trying to show up pictures. Okay, awesome. All right, so I am going to share the planner with you. Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Okay, awesome. All right, so we are just going to break this down. So this is the cover, and oh, I truly do believe in having a word of the year. If you haven't already thought about what your word of the year is, your focus, what is going to be your kind of like homing center for yourself, start to think about that for 2022. Okay, I think it's really, really important. I have been thinking on mine for a while. I have switched it now 3 times and it still hasn't come to me, but I'm hoping that in the next week it's going to, because it's something that I like to seriously focus on, because it's important. Um, know your why, and your why should make you cry. That's just like a little activity. And then if you guys didn't know, Sensi has a belief statement worksheet. So basically what I did is I took that worksheet and I just made it into a fun kind of chart that you can break down. But basically your belief statement is what what you believe for yourself. So maybe it's I believe I am going to be an SSD. No matter where you're at right now, I knew I was going to be an SSD that day I hit reinstate. Okay. So I knew that, but in order to get from certified consultant, because everyone goes back to certified when you reinstate, to SSD, what did I have to do? So we broke those things down into mini goals, right? And so you need to take those mini goals and then you have to bridge the gap. And those checklists, again, I like lists. What do you need to do? Some of those things are recruit 2 people a month, have $2,000 a month in sales, do that consistently for 2 years and teach those that you recruit to do the same. That is how you're going to have sustainable growth and sustainable income in this business. Annual sales, annual mentor. I did not create these charts, but I certainly do use them. These are created by the lovely Christina Steinbrook. And I'm a visual person, so I like to see it broken down. I like to write things down. And a really important fact is that if you write things down, you're more likely to remember them. So that's why it's so important to physically write down your goals. If you have an electronic way to keep track of things, that's great too. But even if you do physically write down at minimum your goals every month, it's super powerful and important for the growth exercise. Sample, I do a lot of sampling. So I have a bulk sample log in here of everything that I sample so that I know when I'm doing follow-ups, what I need to follow up on. I also know what I've done already so I don't repeat and that my customers get a little bit of a, change up from time to time. They may get the same products, but at least they're getting them in different fragrances. And I will tell you, like, I sample heavy. My customers, when I do local orders, they get 3 to 5 samples in their orders. Like, I spoil my customers like crazy. And then every month there is the monthly planner, and this has events in it. So if I knew events when I created it, I put it in there. So like you can see the streaming only registration for SFR. There was an incentive trip. But then at the bottom here, you'll see there's goals and actuals. It's super important to set out a goal every month for what you're going to do. More important though, okay, if you set out a goal and you're going to say, I'm going to do $2,500 in PRV, that's nice. Where's it coming from? Right? Like, where is it coming from? You have to really understand where that money is coming from. Is it coming from fundraisers? Is it coming from parties? How many parties are you doing? What kind of parties are you doing? How many club orders do you have? If you guys are not pushing club, you need to push club because it's reoccurring PRV month after month, and you can look at where that's coming and when it's coming, and you can front load your calendar to make up the difference. And then percentage of active frontline, really, really important. But one of my mentors, Katie Farner, told me a long, long time ago that you want to have a goal of 100 frontline with 50% active. So 50 frontline a month. That's a big number for some of you. I understand it's still a big number for me, but I am working on it. I have roughly about I teeter between 50 and 55 a month frontline, and I am at probably 40 to 45% active every month. So that is where I focus right now, is not worrying about the fact that I'm not at 100 yet. I'm focusing on getting at least 50% of my people active. Then daily numbers. This is super important. How many of you, and I can't see everybody on my screen, but just by a show of hands, for those of you that are on the screen or in the comments, if you feel, how many of you are tracking your daily numbers every single day? If you're not, start January 1st. And I'm going to tell you why. Because your workstation is a wonderful tool. And you can go back and you can look at what you did December 31st of last year for the month, but you cannot see if December 21st of last year, your PRV was higher than it was today, if your active frontline was higher, et cetera, et cetera. And this gives you a real time, day to day way to look at your numbers so that you can see how you're trending. It also helps you because how many times I can't even tell you that I have thought, oh, wow, I'm behind this month. And then I look back and I'm like, no, girl, relax. You did awesome last month and you're actually ahead of where you were last month. One of the things that I really try to focus on, and I try to teach my team to do the same, is to focus on a sale a day. And I know that sounds silly, but like seriously, a sale a day. I don't care if it's a scent circle or it's an air purifier. But if you get a sale a day, that means that you are working your business every single day. You are out there talking to people, you are out there making the connections to have PRV coming in for you every single day. So that's one of the things that I like to track too. And then keeping track of parties. I write them down in here, one, so I can know where I'm at with the party, especially if I have multiple going at one time, but also so that I can go back in 6 months so that I can have them do another seasonal party. So I like to offer my hosts an incentive to do another party 6 months later, but I can pay attention to when they partied and I can really flip back very easily to see, okay, who partied in December of last year? Who can I ask? Or right now, really, who partied in January, February of last year? So I can ask them if they're ready to do their next party. And then I have a business budget in here. Again, this goes back to if you're working a business, you need to treat it like a business. Treat it like a business and it will start to pay you like a business. I promise you that. We are not here to just spend every single dime that we make. I firmly believe in paying yourself, but you also should have monthly business expenses every single month. Some of my business expenses are my subscriptions, are any team mailings or gifts. Like if I have director promotions, I always send flowers. I need to make sure I have, a budget in place for that. I do big customer mailings, so I got to have a budget in place for that. Any parties I have, I do party packs. Anything that I need to invest in my business, it's here, supplies, etc. So again, same thing with the monthly numbers. I do a goal for what my income, expenses, and savings are, and then what the actual is. Did I spend more than I thought I was going to on business expenses or not? So that I can kind of keep track of that so I don't make the same mistakes next month. You definitely want to make money in this business. It doesn't always happen right away, but you want to make sure that you're tracking that and that you're being smart about it. Then I have weekly business to-dos, and this is what I was telling you guys about at the beginning of this call. I'm just going to do a 2-week so you could see it across. Similar things. I have same day dedication every single day. Every Monday of every week is team day, but what I do each Monday is a little bit different. There may be some repeats, but then there's also things that I shift a little bit so that I'm not having to do everything at once, so that things don't pile up. If I have a really, really stressful Monday at work, maybe I catch the director call on a replay. Totally okay. I don't need to catch it live, but I know that it's in there that I have to do it. But I know that at the very least, if I touch these things in my business every single Monday, I know that my business is on track to be successful. So it's not that I have to do everything at once, but if I don't have time to do anything else, I know that I'm going to focus on these 5 to 7 things, and I know that I'm going to be successful, whether I do that after my kids go to bed or I fit these things in 15-minute intervals during my day. Maybe I'm writing out mailing promotion cards while I'm eating my lunch at work. Whatever I have to do to get it done, but this keeps me on track so I don't get behind. And then the team training guide. This is just something that I do when I'm doing trainings. I like to write my stuff out so that I know what I'm doing, but then I also have it so I can go back to it. So if I'm doing a live or I'm doing something like this, or even if I am doing a YouTube video, I can break it down so that I have it, there for myself and notes and I don't squirrel. Then I have a few pages in here for notes, and the same thing repeats month after month after month. And I have this all the way through April. So my planner goes the Sensi year. So it goes May 1st through April 30th. And the reason I did that is, again, for the annual sales and annual mentor. I personally like to start a new year with a new word, and then I focus for the remainder of the year on that. But one of the things that I will say is that I like to think of May 1st as a brand new year. Just like you have New Year's resolutions, I have Sensi resolutions, and they all get put into this book. This was how I had to do it in order to stay on task. This is available to all of you if you haven't already downloaded it. I will make sure that you get the link to do that, but it's super helpful for me. If this doesn't work for you, just know that you can create your own way of doing whatever you need to do. So I'm going to pause there and see if anybody has any questions. First eagle with consecutive 100-yard rushing games since the back in 2014. Okay, no questions. We'll go with that. Well, I will say this much is that I know that it doesn't really matter what system you use as long as you have a system. And the only system that is the right system for you is the one that you're going to use. It really does not help you to print off all of these if you're not going to use them. So know yourself, know what you want to do, and just implement something. This is the perfect time to do that. And yes, I saw somebody ask if I made
There's
all
two questions in the chat.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, I don't know if you can see them or not.
I do. Okay, so Heather's asking if mine is similar to the planner in the consultant store. Aspects of it, yes. I think that they have some sort of tracker in there for annual goals, and they have a daily tracking sheet. And then however they break theirs down. What they don't have are those daily tasks that mine have written in there, but you could easily create labels, like use the Avery 5160 labels and create your own and slap them on your daily. Because I think theirs breaks it down. There's like a spot for every day. So you could easily do that as well. That's an option. And then Sarah's asking if I made those sheets. I did make those sheets. And I am making another one for 2022. It's going to be slightly different. But nonetheless, it's going to be good.
Something I'm curious about, when you said you got SSD real quick, what was your time frame? I don't know this answer.
Yeah, no worries. So I reinstated in August of 2017, and I promoted to SSD in March of 2021. So about 3.5 years. So it's pretty quick. And just to break that down further, like I hit director in, I'm not gonna mess this up, in June of 2019. I hit star director in May of 2020, and then SSD in March of 2021. So I will tell you this much is that the SSD title is the hardest to maintain. I will just be real honest with you guys. Like, I don't always have my stuff together. Like, I really don't. And this year has been particularly difficult for me because you'll learn very quickly as you guys continue to grow, as I'm learning right now, that the more people, or the higher you go, the more people you need to make that pendulum swing. Okay. So you need more people working in unison to make it happen. If my directors don't get paid at title, guess what happens to my title? I don't get paid at title. And there's this delicate balance between helping them and understanding that I can't want it for them more than they want it for themselves. So the answer to that is growth, and it's constantly filling your funnel with new people. And I'm going to be real honest with you, that's something that I am really focused on as we go into this new year is growth. And it's going to sound bad for somebody that is not in the place to hear it. So I'm going to warn you with that. It's not that I'm leaving anybody in the dust, but I am just no longer going to allow weights behind me, right? Like I will always take a look back every so often, and I'll always have my hand, but you got to grab it when it's going back because I don't have time for that. I can't drag people along with me. Like just can't. So know that there's a place for everyone at the table, right? But not everybody gets the same seat at the table, right? And I'm gonna tell you what too. The other thing is it's perfectly okay as a leader. We're going off topic, but it's important to know. It's perfectly okay too. Like think of your team like you do your children. If you have children, right? My house is not a restaurant. We cooking what we're cooking tonight, and you're gonna eat it or you're not gonna eat it. And that's kind of how I look at it. I will feed those who want to come to the table. But I'm not running a McDonald's for you. I'm not going to Taco Bell for you. I'm not cooking macaroni and cheese because you won't eat my steak. I know what I serve. I serve filet mignon. If you don't want that, if that's not your palate, that's okay. Right? Like that's okay. And be okay with that. Find your people. You will find your people. So just know that like it is hard, and the harder see what I mean. I squirreled. I remember what I was going to say. This year has been the hardest for me because the entire time I was a director, I was paid at title every single month. Never had one month that I was not paid at title. SD, always paid at title and then some. Never was I not paid at title. Hit SSD in March. I have a baby team. We have 358 in our group. 358. Okay, so we have a baby team. And right now, as of right now, we have 8 people outside of me with the title of DQ or above. So that's a lot of leadership for a small amount of people. And what happened was we were paid at title in March. We were paid at title in April. We missed paid at title by like, I don't know, it was something sad, like $1,600 in May. Didn't get paid at title again until September. September, October, November, paid at title, and it ain't looking so good for this month. So that's just what it is. If you're a seasonally paid at title person, no, you just need new people to help your pendulum swing. That's it. Right? Like it's truly, it's okay. It's okay to not get paid at title. And I'm saying that to you out loud, and I'm telling myself that because we need to hear that. Because it does. It gets really hard. And especially for any directors who may, fall into the queue or have a hard season, don't allow yourself to stay there. You choose to stay there. That's you. So get yourself up and do something about it. And you know what you do about it? You find people that want it as bad as you do. That's the only thing you can do about it. Because I swear, there's no amount of incentives you can offer to your people. I see it all the time in the director page. Like, what, I need ideas for incentives for my people. If their paycheck isn't an incentive, if a trip isn't an incentive, what gumball do you think you are offering that is going to make them work? I don't know who's clapping, but thank you. I appreciate you, boo.
That was my husband. He's been listening the whole time, but he's
Awesome.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
just keep preaching because you're 100% on it, loving every word coming out of your mouth about this.
Yeah.
That is the honest to God truth. If their paycheck doesn't do it, sorry.
No, No,
I put it in the chat, but first of all, I'm a huge fan of yours, like huge, like totally fangirl over you, just saying.
girl,
Kind of like my
love-
face is, you can't see because it's shitty military housing lighting right now, but my face is super red because I'm even talking to you right now. And oh my God, Nikki's still recording. So crap. Sorry, Nikki. You have no idea how much, probably 90% of the people that are going to watch this, either watching it now or watching the replay, need to hear that from you as an SSD. So I just need you to know that is just, I've got so many private messages on my phone right now and in the chat, and they're like, oh my God, I needed to hear this. Like, thank you. Like, this is so awesome. Like to hear that from somebody so high up. So just seriously, thank you.
You're welcome. You know what, it's really, it's hard. We watch people all the time. Here's the difficult thing about what we do. One of our core values is authenticity, and we are told all the time to be our authentic self. But the reality is that authenticity is messy, and so many of us are so worried about, myself included, about being liked or not being judged, or feeling like they need to have it together. And honestly, me telling people that I don't get paid at title or that I haven't hit numbers, no one would know that besides my sponsor and my SSD. Nobody would know that. But it's the authenticity that's important. It's the truth. It's the understanding that success isn't defined in being able to hit those numbers every month. And so many times we stop ourselves from celebrating really big deal items, really big deal days, simply because of the other people that we watch. You know, the people that I aspire to be like are putting up big old numbers every single month. And so sometimes that makes me feel real small. And I remember when I realized last month that we hit $1 million in sales for the first time ever, and I was so excited. I almost didn't order the balloons because I realized that people that I follow, like Jennifer Anderson, do that in a month. And so I almost talked myself out of celebrating that because I wasn't doing it as quickly or as fast or as often as other people did it. But I have to remember that she once celebrated her first $1 million year too. Right? And we have to remember what Heidi told us. The word yet is a powerful thing. Whatever you aspire to be, you can be. You're just not there yet. You're just not there yet. So that's why I follow the system of a planner, because I really do believe in planning. I really do believe in one of the things that's not in the planner, but that I write down for myself is like my goals. That, like, I write this down every year. And, you know, some of these things I hit, some of them I didn't. Like, I remember writing these down this time last year, and this is a good reminder to myself to get on it because I acting like Christmas isn't this week. But, you know, 2021 word was devote. I wanted to devote myself to my team and my group so that I would hit SSD. Now, SSD was supposed to be something that I hit in the fall. I hit it in March. I swear, as silly as it sounds, that whole thing threw me off that I hit it so early. Like, that was not in the game plan. But I had a coaching call with Wendy, who is not my upline. Wendy Heath Newgas, but she is amazing and took pity on my soul and I had a coaching call with me. And I remember her telling me in the fall that I was going to hit it in March. And so I don't know what I thought, but March 1st, I was like, that we're going to hit it. We were nowhere near it, but we did, because I believe in words of affirmation. I believe in manifesting things. And your belief in what you tell yourself matters. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you. What matters is what you think about you and what you're going to tell yourself. So things like, I wanted to have my first $5,000 monthly paycheck in 2021. Again, didn't think it would happen till the fall. I had multiple $5,000 paychecks this year. And that was amazing because that meant that I was matching what I was bringing home at my 9 to 5, which got me closer to the idea that I could quit my job. Still not quit my job. Still, now I'm going to school too. So there's just how it is. But pay off all credit card debt. We did that this year. Remodel kitchen, baths, and basement. Did that this year. Like, right? Like, so it's not just Sensi Awards, annual sales was on here. I did that. Like, fall incentive earner, did that. You got to write them down. Got to write them down. Because if you believe in it enough to write it down and you put this somewhere where you're going to read it regularly, put it up on your mirror, put it on your fridge. If you're like me and you're in there too often, put it on your fridge, put it in your pantry, put it in your car, put it multiple places. Put them as reminders on your phone, like alarms. You can rename an alarm. Whatever you have to do to put it in front of your face that you're going to believe it. Do it, do it, do it. Yes, hang it in your closet. You're in your closet every day. Do whatever you need to do. But prioritize you. Prioritize you because your team will drain you. I love my team. I do. But I always said samples, making pretty graphics, that's not going to be what burns me out. People will be what burns me out. Right? So take care of you. Don't allow others to drain you. Don't allow others to empty your cup. Okay? The only way to fill that cup back up is to find things that bring you joy, that you're going to focus on your personal business 80% of the time and other people 20% of the time, and make sure that you are doing for you why you joined this business at the beginning in the first place. You know, like if spending more time with your kids is why you're doing this business in the first place, then what are you doing locking yourself in your office for hours on end and not spending time with your kids? Do it after they go to bed. There's going to be some long nights. There's going to be some really long days. But I promise you, put those long days in and it will pay off over and over again. And when you get where you think you want to be, you're going to keep going. So don't stop doing the things that helped you get there. Okay, now I'm really done. I have nothing else to add.
Thought I saw one more question in the chat and I apologize. I was just going up. Someone did ask, do you have different tasks for different levels? So I'm assuming that means different titles. So do you feel like there's certain tasks that you should focus more when you're a star, or certain tasks you should focus more superstar director, star director, like in your planner? Do you have them spaced differently? Do you have them in there differently, or how do you approach your team with that?
Great question. So when I made this, I started making it for me and then decided to offer it up to everybody else. When I edited it, I don't think that's a word. I took it down to the director level. And I had like the leadership call in there, and I had everything in there that I personally believe a director should be doing as far as recognition, how they work their own business, etc. Apart from that, I don't. But here's why. If you are a star consultant today and you download this planner, what's it going to do for you to see leadership call at 11 a.m. Central Time every single Monday? It's going to condition your brain that that's the call you need to be on. And so see it enough and get yourself in the mindset that this is what you need to do. And yes, you don't have to be a director to start acting like one. Your team should see no difference in you from when you move from level to level to level. Here's a little secret. People will always remember you as the you that they met. They are not going to remember you, or their mindset or their perception of you doesn't grow as you grow. It's this crazy thing, but it's true. And so, you know, if you had somebody that joined with you when you were a certified consultant, even once you're a director, they won't see you like that. But if you've always acted that way, if you've always led them with the same heart and dedication that you're going to as a director, then there should be no difference. And that's one of the things that I really try to, and I say try because we can't make people see what we want them to see. Try to explain to my team as they're kind of coming up, those that are consistent and behave like a director before they get to director, and then keep doing those things once they're at director, are the ones that keep their title. The ones that get shell shock and all of a sudden think they need to be doing all these things, they're the ones that struggle. Because all of a sudden you are trying to juggle 20 balls that you automatically threw in the air because you were a director. Here's a little tip. Since he doesn't have like expectations around directors as far as sending happy mail, there's no rule that says we have to send postcards or emails or gift cards or gifts or any of that. How we run our businesses individually is up to us. And so find what works for you. I was trying to do way too many things and I found that I wasn't consistent with it. So you know what really mattered was my time offered in coaching calls. What really mattered was just saying, hey, I see you, either in a team page shout out or an email that I would send. You know, whatever works for you. But find something that's going to work for you from the time you get one team member. Don't wait until you have a team of 30 and become a director to all of a sudden try to lead. Because guess what? Nobody's going to listen. Help them be a part of your journey and bring it up. And like I said, you know, if these things don't work, just cross them out, you know, or don't print those pages. Maybe print the other pages, but don't print the daily checklist pages. Or get the one in the consultant support or consultant store and make your own labels. What you need to focus on is make sure that whatever you're doing income producing activities every day. And those don't really change title to title.
I was gonna stop the recording just because I don't see any other questions at this moment. So give me 1 second.